Hello again. I'm Sister Sandra Seow from the Verbum Dei Missionaries. Welcome back. Welcome back to this podcast Advent Retreat. In this session, our third session, we will center on the Advent candle, which is a lovely rose pink color. Now, it stands out among the three other candles because they're all purple in color in the Advent wreath. But this rose pink candle stands out, and it represents joy. In the first two sessions, we prayed with hope and peace. To have hope and peace is to live life with joy. What is joy? Another word that we often replace joy with is happiness. Does joy mean happiness? And does happiness mean joy? At the start of this session, let us take a few minutes to dwell on these two words, joy and happiness. Firstly, let's take a look at this word, happiness. We can be joyful and be happy, but we cannot be happy without joy. It is mind-boggling, right? Happiness is a feeling that comes and goes according to external circumstances. It comes and goes depending on the events going on in our life. Simple example. I feel happy after eating my favorite snack. I feel happy when someone gives me a present. Thus, we feel happy when things go well or when things go according to what we plan. But if something bad happens, the feeling of happiness vanishes away, fades away. Joy, on the other hand, does not depend on external happenings. It is a permanent state of being. I repeat, it's very important. It is a permanent state of being. It comes from an inner peaceful place within us, a place of certainty that we are deeply and unconditionally loved by God. A place of contentment that we are not alone in life, but God is with us. No matter what the circumstances, good or bad, joy does not vanish. It remains in us. Advent and Christmas are seasons of joy. Wouldn't it be great if we can experience a joyful Advent and Christmas that does not depend on people, presents, good, yummy, delicious food, or overseas trip? I mean, of course, we can still enjoy, we can still look forward to a nice vacation, a good break in December, to go to a party, and to enjoy, meals, yummy food, with people, with friends, to laugh. It's fine, but we enter into a new level where these things are no longer the source of our joy. Instead, God is the source of our joy. Not holidays, not presents, not yummy food. God is the source of our joy. One of my favorite Psalms is Psalm 16. In it, the psalmist declares, "You will show me the path that leads to life. Your presence fills me with joy and brings me pleasure forever." Your presence fills me with joy. God's presence within us fills us with a deep, profound joy that the world cannot give us. How amazing if we can have this daily awareness that God's presence gives us joy. We need this fullness of joy to fill us, strengthen us, and encourage us as we walk through the ups and downs of life. How can we have God's presence that gives us this fullness of joy? Fullness of joy only comes when we are in communion with God. In the Gospel of John 15, Jesus used the image of the vital connection between a vine and a branch. He said, I am the vine, you are the branches. Those who remain in me and I in them will bear much fruit, for you can do nothing without me. The image of the vine and the branches expresses the depth of communion, of the togetherness God, Jesus, desires to have with all of us. Our oneness with God is central to our Christian life. He is the source of our joy, of life, of all good and loving things. Apart from Him, we can do nothing. What comes out from being connected to Christ, from being in this communion with Him, is joy. In verse 11 of John 15, Jesus declared, I have told you this so that my joy may be in you and your joy may be complete. Let us pause at this verse. Allow these words to resound in the silence of our hearts. I have told you this so that my joy may be in you and your joy be complete. My joy may be in you. Now, this my refers to Jesus, His own joy in us. Strangely, we tend to associate God to be loving, patient, merciful, etc. But we seldom speak or think of God as joyful, isn't it? Most of us refer to joy as a gift God gives to us, but not something that He has, that He possesses. However, God cannot give us the gift of joy if He does not have joy in Him. As we often say, we cannot give what we do not have. The same applies to God. He gives us joy because He has joy. He has joy because He is a joyful God. Therefore, God is the source of joy, just as He is the source of love and mercy. This joyful God of ours comes to us and shares His joy with each one of us. The verse continues, your joy may be complete. Your joy may be complete. From remaining in Him, Jesus shares His joy with us. So our joy is complete. is full. Here we can imagine a jar or a container filled to the brim, filled completely, right up to the top edge with water. Now, the fruit of our union with Jesus is nothing else than complete, full to the brim joy. This is the mark of a true Christian. Joy is not an option. As we mentioned in the beginning, it is a state of being. We are called to be joyful in the same way God is joyful. Because we have joy, we can give joy. In fact, God's joy in our hearts is the inner force that moves us to give the gift of His joy to others. This is the greatest gift that we can ever give to one another, the gift of joy. We tend to associate giving joy, with giving material gifts, especially during this Christmas season. We face the hustle, the bustle of packed malls to buy toys, kitchenware, chocolates, for our family members, colleagues, and friends. We do this because we want to express our love. We want to make them happy. For me, I love giving gifts. I love giving gifts to people. And I will spend time planning, buying and wrapping the gifts up, and I feel the joy of just giving them to people, This is beautiful. And we should continue, this tradition of gift giving. There is nothing wrong with gift giving. However, beside giving gifts this Christmas, we can also transmit joy to those around us by loving them for their good, seeking their interests for their good, loving them for their good and not seeking our own interests. Here we can turn to Mother Mary and learn from her. In Luke 1, we have the passage of Mary visiting her older relative Elizabeth, who was pregnant with a child. The gospel begins with, soon afterward, referring to the Annunciation, soon afterward, Mary got ready and hurried off to a town in the hill country of Judea. I'm always drawn by this phrase, hurried off. Mary got ready and hurried off. Mary, though pregnant with child, she set off quickly, with haste, to be with her elderly pregnant cousin Elizabeth, so that she could be of loving service to her. Her inner joy of carrying Jesus within her pushed her to place the needs of the other above her own. Now, Mary could have just stayed in Nazareth, and worried about her own situation. But instead, she chose to make that journey, that difficult journey, towards Elizabeth, who was in need. As we draw close to Christmas, let us be free from focusing on ourselves. Instead, let us always be in a hurry, just like Mary, to give the gift of our presence, our time, our patience, our understanding. Often, we hurry off to meet a deadline, to finish a project. And we put excuses after excuses, to do acts of love and charity. We always say, no time, not convenient now. Perhaps Mary can inspire us to be quick to make that journey towards others and to work for the well-being of others. The passage described the moment Mary arrived at Elizabeth's house. It says, no? As soon as Elizabeth heard Mary's greeting, the child leapt in her womb, and Elizabeth was filled with the Holy Spirit. Elizabeth was filled with joy. Likewise, her child within her recognized the presence of God in Mary and leapt for joy. Mary's presence brought them joy, great joy. Like Mary, we too are called to bring Jesus to others so that they will have joy after coming away from encountering us. Our calling as Christians is to bring God's joy to others. The honest question to ask ourselves is, do I bring God to others? Do I bring joy or do I bring pain when I encounter another person? This Advent season, let us allow God to be the source of our joy. May we not just light up that lovely, pretty, rose-colored candle of joy as a ritual, but as we light the candle, may we experience God's joy, God's profound joy filling our hearts to the brim. Let us be overflowing with God's joy. From having God's joy in us, we can then become channels of His joy to others.